everyone, welcome to another video for assignmentsstamp.com. Today I'm using supplies from the June 2013 card kit, and I'm starting out with this cardstock paper from Tim Holtz that comes in the kit. It has a craft core, so you can tear it off like this. And I'm going to be doing a little bit of embossing on this using the Dude stamp set from Kelly Perky that is included in the kit as well. So I just used an embossing powder bag over the top of that to prep the area for embossing. And I stamped the You Are Amazing stamp from that stamp set and then embossed it with white embossing powder. And you'll notice I'm holding the heat tool away from the project for a little bit. That's because I really wanted the heat tool to heat up completely before I applied it to my project. That makes it so that it doesn't warp hardly any at all. That's just a tip that I've picked up recently. So always make sure you let your heat tool heat up entirely before you apply it to your project. I then took these letter stickers that come in the kit and I first just stuck them on the project just to get them on there. And then started picking them up really gently with this, with the tip of this X-Acto knife or this craft knife. And so when I initially put them on there, I didn't press down too hard. So I just got those on there really, really carefully. And then I moved on to tearing the bottom of this paper and then also starting to adhere some little strips of pattern paper. So I did one little strip of pattern paper and then right above it, I used some mustache washi tape that comes in the kit. And I just wrapped that around the edges. Washi tape isn't too permanently adhered to anything, but when you wrap it around something and then you're going to be putting it on the card, you're pretty safe to use it without any extra adhesive. So just put down some more strips of pattern paper, including a really, really thin little white strip that I used some Tombow Mono Multi Glue to glue that onto this little pattern paper piece section that we're working on. That's my favorite glue for, excuse me, for adhering little thin strips like this. So after I had that done, I moved on to the card base, and I'm just using some cardstock from the kit, and I scored it so that it would be a top folding card. And I'm going to be doing some stamping on the background, and I'm using this Circle Fusion 1 background stamp from Impression Obsession. And the thing I really like about these stamps is that they're really large. So this particular pattern is repeated all over, so it's not quite as apparent. But if you had a large background stamp that was directional, because it's so large, you could use it either horizontally or portrait for your card. So it's kind of a cool idea. So I just coated the whole stamp with some Versamark, and I did use a powder bag on that because I'm going to be embossing. So just pressing that onto the front of the card really, really firmly, being really careful, making sure I'm getting all those corners. And then I'm going to be lifting it off and applying some clear embossing powder. And normally I edit out a lot of the embossing, like heating it up and everything, but this looked so cool when it was melting, so I thought I'd leave it in here and I'd talk a little bit about embossing. Before I mentioned that I always let my heat tool heat up quite a bit before I apply it to my project, and this is even more important when you're working on the background or the card base of your card, because you really don't want it warping and, looking really funny when you're done. So you'll always want to make sure that your heat tool is heated up completely before applying it. And you'll notice that I move in and it starts melting right away. That's the sign that your heat tool is completely melted. I also think this just looks super, super cool. It's one of my favorite techniques. It's one of those wow techniques that really gets new card makers enthused about the hobby. So I thought I wanted to throw this in here so you can see it, because it's one of my favorite things to watch. So after I embossed that entire background, I just blasted the back with a little bit of heat that also helps prevent warping. I took the pattern paper piece that we've stamped and glued all that pattern paper on, and I just took off the excess on each side and then applied some foam adhesive on the back. And not being very shy with the foam adhesive, be pretty generous. You don't want it to sag. Then I applied it more to the left side of the card front. And then I took a little heart punch. This is from Punch Bunch. This is the small heart punch. Punched out that little heart. And I put it on some foam and put that right down onto the card. I also took some Ranger Glossy Accents and coated the heart so that it's nice and glossy and shiny. And after I put that on the heart, I decided I wanted to round the corners on the card. So I used the 1/4-inch corner rounder on the corner chomper, and I punched all 4 corners. And the last thing I did was I took a white gel pen and I went around the areas of that black and craft cardstock. Just really wanted those dashed lines to show up. And that's the finished card for today. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys next time.